talk to me. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Let's go around the horn.
I
Wins,
used to watch that show.
wins. What was that, Em?
I used to watch that show.
What's
Around the
that?
horn.
Around the horn with Tony
Yeah.
Kornheiser?
No, that's PTI with Tony Kornheiser.
Oh, PTI. Oh, around the horn was their little skit there at the end, right? Or something.
It was the show before with Woody Page and
Oh, that's
the
right.
ever revolving.
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Anyway,
All right.
I mean, I digress. My brain I hadn't heard that phrase in a long time. So
He's still on you're still on vacation mode. All right. Daniel, give me a win from last week, man. Oh,
Win from last week. Had a listing go in a contract that I've been having some difficulty selling, so excited about that.
So you had a listing go live?
A listing went under contract.
Oh,
I've
under
been having
contract.
some difficulty selling it, so I was excited to get that worked out.
There we go.
And then I had an awesome wedding up in Jersey that I went to. Had a blast.
Any wins with I know you had sent a question back. I think, or no, Jacob asked the question and you had chimed in around the with the spouse banking. Did you and Gabby have any conversations around what that might look like?
No, we didn't really discuss it.
Okay.
I think we're both kind of on board with everything going. I mean, we've had discussions previously, but everything going into one account and then paying all of our bills and investments and things out of that. And then we each get our own separate account that's kind of like our play money that we can really do whatever we want with, no questions asked kind of deal.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, again, it's called personal finance for a reason, right? I mean, this is personal. It's your personal stuff. Yeah, just do what, especially when we involve our spouses, like there's no right or wrong. I think it's the most important thing is what helps you guys get to your Oz together, the most efficient protecting the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so when you send, when you have that and you're like, hey, we made $12,000 this month, we're going to do this, and this, and Daniel gets 500 and Gabby gets 500, and that goes into a separate account to do whatever you want with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's 100% on pace. That's actually what we do. I send it to Melinda's, has a fun money account. I don't, because I don't buy 47 things and return 36 of them.
That's Gabby to a T.
I'm like, I'll buy a new golf shirt. I'll buy a dozen golf balls. I'll buy like an extra 6 Bang Energies on at the gas station. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
None of that gets returned. So I'll just use the normal checking account as a normal human and just track it.
What kind of percentage do you put on fund money?
It's a great question. We're going to talk budgeting stuff today. I think when there's no right answer, other than the fact that it's in alignment with your other stuff, right? So if it's a percentage, I mean, we'll look at the percentage. I mean, I don't even know what our percentage is. It's probably like 1 or 2%. I'm going to pull it up here real quick.
My wife and I have done 150 each every 2 weeks. So it'd be 300 a month is our what we call miscellaneous. So that's kind of cash in pocket. And we've done that for years and it seems to be about right. Sometimes we have a little left over, but so just what we've done.
So a lot of that will change. ROJEC.
Where I'm having difficulty is now everything's on the credit card. We used to do for 20 some years, we did a cash flow organizer where I would go get cash from the bank. We put in gas money, miscellaneous, all that. When that went away, when we transitioned everything, I got lost. So now I'm in every dollar trying to figure this all out so we just use the credit card for everything, but I can categorize into her miscellaneous, my miscellaneous, and we can track it. I'm confused. I need help, but that's where I'm trying to go.
And I mean, again, we can definitely talk, about that stuff because it generally comes down to, you can do dollar amount, you can do this. Like if we have a really big month, then we will put a little bit of extra money in the fund money to not necessarily like, to be entitle ourselves. But I mean, hey, if you have a big month and you bring money home and you're like, hey, I've already paid enough on debt, I've tithed, I've done everything, and there's still extra money, like we always just come up with like, hey, there's $500 left. Let's throw another, throw half of it here and half of it at fund money. And again, it's, we just make it do whatever, right? I mean, so come up with a dollar amount, percentage. I think you're not gonna get crazy with it. So good question. Rob, any wins to share for the week or challenges?
Yeah, we got every dollar set up. I'm excited to figure it out. I am a big picture guy, so I'm not great with details. So I just need to dig in the details of it, try to figure it out. Once I have it in my head, it'll be good. But we got all the credit cards imported in there, all the budget set up in there, and so I'm feeling good about learning it and getting back on a budget that we did for so many years successfully, and then we just lost our way in this last 7 years. So I'm excited to get back to it.
The prodigal son has returned.
Yeah, here we go. There we go, back on the budgets.
Oh, that's great. Emily,
But
Emily, give me a win for the week.
Because obviously I missed the week, so I got another buyer under contract. So that's a professional win. We got through inspection for an appraisal for my other listing, and then I just had a listing go up this week. So that's a lot of that. My other win is just vacation. It was not a vacation, it was a wedding, but my girls were flower girls in a wedding, and it was the sweetest, cutest, most fun, loving, heartening experience to watch these girls get to do hair and makeup and floral crowns and dress and limo rides, and just it's my brother-in-law, the father of the not my brother-in-law, my half-brother, who's the father of the bride, gave a very nice speech, and he said that memories are the dividends of the investments that we make. And I really loved that. And so it was a beautiful investment, or a dividend, that I just got to have with these girls. So so that was my win. And my challenge is, because I sat on that plane and I did all of this and I haven't had a chance to put it together, but I did, or put it in the budget, all that stuff. But I did do business and personal, and I've got it right here. I just have to have time to sit down and put it in.
Yeah. Awesome. That's the next step, right? Is getting it together and then carving out the time to do it. And then every month moving forward, it just gets easier. Because, there won't be many more times in your life that you'll have to print out 90 days of bank statements and go through it with a highlighter. And then there's hardly ever any time that you have to enter everything into a net worth tracker and then log everything into every dollar. Like, you only have to do all of that stuff once. And then as we have a relationship with it over and over and over and over, then it just becomes easier and becomes less time consuming. And, as I mentioned in the past, the very first time we did this, it was a 2-day weekend summit. And today it's 12 minutes at a kitchen island. Right? There's not that much to talk about. There's just not. And, I have a running list of things that I need to do. And half of those things have nothing to do with Melinda. So, that around finances. So good job. Eric.
Hey. So I've got 2 new buyer clients last week. One of them was when I'm on a board for a nonprofit as a co-chair. So one of the members at the very end of the meeting says, "Hey, my sister's going to move into town, so I'm going to send them to you." It's like, "Great, thank you." Also, I signed a new investment agreement, so I'm starting to invest in flip projects. So with Nicole, actually, so I'm very excited about
Oh,
that
okay,
because
nice.
I also get to learn a lot from them, who, as you know, are experts in that area. So those are two good things. I did get pretty much everything set up in EveryDollar. I'm having trouble with one of the banks. It won't work right. And I did it late at night, so I didn't fight with it a lot. So I just have to get back to that. So
Cool, awesome. And we'll get to Cindy in a minute, but let's welcome Melanie, brand new student here in the wealth department. Melanie, say hi to everyone, like who you are, what area you serve, and like what's the thing that you're looking to get out of these next 12 weeks?
So my name is Melanie Weaver. I'm in the greater Kansas City, Missouri market or area. I have ran Footloose and Fancy Free for way too long with the finances. My daughter, I'm a single mom. My daughter is 23 and she's now an adult. It's taken us a little bit of time to get her through college. Our finances are so intertwined that in the next 12 weeks, our goal is to break them apart and hopefully salvage the great relationship we have. Um, so yeah, I kind of was starting to lose the optimism. I've been on a 60-day campaign of switching brokerages and getting everything shut down and changed and put back up. And I knew there'd be a delay, but I felt like I was working constantly and turning around and there's nothing there. But last night I got my contract accepted this morning that I wrote at 11 p.m. last night on some buyers that we were competing with other multiple offers on a really nice home. And so there's hope. Today's the new day.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Melanie. This is you're in the right spot. You're with the right crew, and lean in. Go back and watch the replays. Get caught up. Ask questions in the Facebook group, like so many others do. And then if if uh, if if I had to bet on it, there will be somebody else answers the question before I get to it. So you're in the right place with the right people.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Awesome. Cindy, wrap us up. How's
Welcome,
Cindy?
Melanie. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
I would have to say, well, I listened to this podcast this week. I don't know, it's kind of a win. And it was a Bigger Pockets podcast about two couples that were late in starting their retirement. And it was just encouraging. I loved their stories. One was a doctor, so he made massive money, but
Sure.
he's like, we hit burnout. He was an ER doctor, and I think he was in his early 50s and realized like we've been living the good life. So that was like just, encouraging that we're all in this together. If we just double down and do the work, which I have to say my husband's been doing the work. I have to give him credit for that. I do the escrows, he does the work. He's been like getting all our numbers together. So,
You do
thank
it.
God,
Do it.
thank God for him.
Well, it's it takes a village, right? I mean, whether and everyone will find out, right? Singles or married couples will find out what their superpower is when it comes to this, right? And so my encouragement is just lean in and, divide and conquer, and who's going to be, if Cindy's the escrow person and Rob, spreadsheet Rob over here, and software Rob, he's got everything dialed in. I mean, yeah, that works, right? And then coming together as a couple on Thursday night or, Wednesday night, right? If it's Wednesday after this call, or if it's Thursday or whatever your day is, to bring that stuff together. And, what's going to be so important, for the couples and and also Melanie and Eric is like, hey, come together, do the best you can, reach out to the community, have conversations with me, and we'll just keep moving the ball down the field. Right. But it's that conversation, that openness between Cindy saying, hey, I have 3 listings coming this month, or I have 3 under contract, and giving those numbers to Rob, and Rob can put them in the thing. And then he says, oh, hey, this is what I think she should do with it. Cindy, do you have any have any hesitancy on this? The first time I did that, I think I had $1,000 for golf and like $100 for food. And Melinda was like, hey, big boy, you think we can flip those around this month? Right. And so, we were doing the best that we could with the information that we had. Okay. We were doing the best that we could, like the couple that was on the Bigger Pockets podcast. I tell you, if you found some value out of it, Cindy, feel free to share that link and say, hey, this is some encouragement for those of us that are all behind on retirement. Give this a listen. Right. So drop that definitely and
Yeah, it was
go
good.
through. So, okay. I have on my list, unless anyone else has anything that is a burning desire, what would you say? It's yeah, I'm sure, Melanie.
Yeah, I was just,
Um,
I'm probably the only single person on here, but I was like, it's okay. She even described it like we were married. So
Yeah. Hey, we have 4
Well-
kids. We're married to them all.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
me.
we're going to make sure that your daughter exits the nest and your relationship is preserved in the process.
It's getting a little rocky. So I think
bet.
it's time we do that.
My son's
I bet.
my son's a seasoned firefighter. He's making great money now, all that kind of stuff. And we were sitting there last night at a restaurant, and I said, Bob, it's probably time for you to take over your cell phone, maybe your car insurance. I mean, he's been out of the house for 10 years. So anyways, you're in good company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So, all right, budgeting today. Now, we've talked profit first. We've talked about the path of money, or we talked about planning for the future, and we talked about profit first in the last few weeks. And what we haven't done, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe we've done. I'm in the middle of my workshop, so sometimes I get the lessons a little transpired. Is I wanted to show you my every dollar budget for my business, how that's done, how that is set up. And then I'll turn that off and I'll go over to the personal, and we'll start talking about how the money, when it comes in from a business standpoint, how it gets over to us personal. Now, for some of you, you might not need to have 2 every dollar or Ramsey Plus and an every dollar account. It just depends on the size of your business. My business is to a place where, Eric, you probably don't, being on a team and as a team agent, one account, right? And so I need 2. I like 2 because it keeps it completely separate. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen here. All right. I have Zoom, I have everything. Let's see, let's turn this off. Okay. All right, can you see?
Spending everything that was coming in some. So we,
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
You did hear that.
I wonder, I must have had something logged on. All right, let me try this again. Ran every dollar. Okay, so we're going to start with business. Okay, we're going to start with business now. Hey, Arbel's not on here. I don't see Arbel. Hey, Arbel, can you see my computer screen to make sure that it's recording? You all can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I see it saying that it's recording, so.
okay, so that should all work. Okay, now I'm gonna get you guys out of the way here. Okay, so this is every dollar. This is my business budget. Okay, this is my business budget. And so I have different line items in my coaching on how we get paid, right? Everything comes in. We talked about profit first. Everything comes into our income account. Who has actually set up their profit first accounts yet so far?
What is profit first account? Is that what this is?
Yeah, okay.
Every dollar.
All right, so let me back up here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have we gone through profit first? Okay,
No.
then what I was about ready to show you doesn't
Are you
mean
talking about the line item you had down there where you put the profit in there, the 6%? Is that the line item you're talking about, or?
yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay.
Oh.
I had it here and you know, it got mixed up on my sheets on what we were talking about today. Okay, I'm so sorry. Rock and fire. Profit first. Who here has read the book?
Part of it.
Nicole-
Heard of
Yeah.
it? Eric's read it.
Nicole has us reading them
I
now.
talk about it very briefly in my ebook. For us, profit first or profit first for real estate agents, it doesn't matter. Listen to it, buy it. I like the main book because Mike talks about it at a really high level. And we're going to talk about the methodology. We're going to talk about the why and everything behind it. Okay. So when we get paid as real estate agents, we make a commission, 10,000 bucks, right? Sales price, sales commission, $10,000 or money cap split. We get dollars, 10,000 bucks, right? Now, the challenge after all these conversations and coaching clients and transformations, real estate agents don't make as much as they think. Cap reset, agent referral fees, et cetera, chargebacks, et cetera. There's always something, right? Oh, I forgot that transaction fee. Oh, I forgot my brokerage takes out this percentage. They take out the royalty. My royalty had cap, but my brokerage didn't cap, right? It just happens. And so the thing I want us to get crystal clear on is how much money are we making on every deal? And do the math. See, profit first. You see, when we have real estate agents don't make as much as they think, spend more than we care to admit, and are generally behind on taxes and or retirement. And so when and I'm just gonna, we're a small group, so we can just kind of more talk freely. When Dan sells a house, right? Or if I sell a house and I'm gonna make $10,000, and if that money comes into an account, and we look at that account over and over and over and over every day, because we only log into our bank accounts once a day or once a week, right? We don't log into it multiple times like complete psychopaths, right? How much money are we going to spend? If there's $10,000 sitting in an account, how much are we going to spend? What's human nature? Tell us that we can spend
12,000.
15.
15, 10, 12, right? We never spend 7. And it's kind of like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet with the largest plate and walking down the all-you-can-eat buffet line. And how much food are we going to put on if we have the largest plate?
Gonna fill the plate.
We're going to fill the plate. And then how much food do we eat?
All of it.
Plus
And then
dessert.
how do we feel?
Terrible.
We feel terrible, right? So $10,000 came in, we spent all of it. How do we feel? We feel terrible. Now we got to go do the whole process again and go get another listing and get another deal under contract and just go through this entire rat race cycle. It's called real estate. And so what the methodology behind Profit First does is it takes that large plate and says, okay, I still need to eat. I still need to have energy. I still need to nourish myself, but do I have to eat that much? And Mike talks about the analogy in his book with toothpaste. Who here's, all right, who here, when they brush their teeth, wets the toothbrush first or puts the toothpaste on and then wets the toothbrush? Which one
You
are
gotta
you?
wet it first and then wet it afterwards.
I go
Okay,
straight
so
to
if you wet it first
the toothpaste.
and then put it on and then wet it after, right? What generally happens to the toothpaste?
Washed off.
A lot of it just
Dang.
falls off, right?
Mine doesn't. I don't know. I just go straight. to the
Well, I
toothpaste.
mean, you know, you're special, Rob.
Never had a
Right?
problem,
But
maybe
then
not.
if we have this full tube of toothpaste and some just falls off, what do? We put more back on and then we go to town, right? We brush our teeth. Well, as that tube of toothpaste gets smaller and smaller and emptier, how much toothpaste are we actually putting on the brush?
Only what
Probably
we,
only what you actually need.
What you actually need. Do you still brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what would happen if we treated that just like we treated our money, just like we treat the tube of toothpaste every day? Because we're already looking at our phone and we're looking at our bank account. We're waiting for the depositor. We're waiting to see if something cleared. And we're just get into this cycle of already looking at it. So why don't we create a system that already it fits into the behavior of what we're doing? Cash management system, a cash management banking. So now if we go through that same all-you-can-eat buffet with a smaller plate, what's our human nature? How much food are we going to put on the plate?
Still
Less.
gonna fill
Fill
it
it.
up.
Still going to fill it up, but it's much less. Then how much are we going to eat?
still gonna eat.
Less.
So we're going to eat less, but we're still going to eat all of it. And then how much better do we feel?
A lot.
Way different, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to, my dentist moment there. It's the only time of the day I feel like a doctor. When I have my dentist light and then I move it. So if we oh, something's not level, the camera's not level. Like there's a bigger gap. All right, my OCD is gonna have to wait. So if we have an account called income, and all of you guys see that regular, right?
Yes.
Yep.
It's not backwards. Okay, good. And so now all of our money comes into one account, all of our deposits, all of our business deposits. So all of our commission checks, all of our rev share checks, all of our referral checks, everything. If you run a team, your percentage of the team check comes in there. Eric, your percentage that the team pays you goes into there. And we have 100, let's just call it $10,000 for easy math. It all comes in there. And then periodically in a rhythm, 10th and 25th of the month, every Friday, could be every Monday, whatever rhythm that you would like to work on, we transfer the money. Now, who's the most important person in the entire business?
We are.
Me.
You are. So when we experience looking at our business through the lens of a profit and loss statement, and we have income 400 grand for the year, and then we have net income. You guys
Can't see that.
Nope. Can you see the red or is it too light?
Yeah, we can see it.
See the red.
Okay. We have net 100 grand. And we have all these expenses. We learned sales minus expenses equals profit. We learned that. Right? We learned that we learned that in high school. We learned that in college. We learned sales minus expenses equal profit. In this scenario, who gets all of this money first?
Your bills.
The bills, right? Our admin, our marketing, our payrolls, our our expenses, right? All of that gets first. And then the owner gets this. Make sense?
Mhm.
That doesn't make sense, but that's what a profit and loss statement is. So where's the first place you look, right? First place we look, bottom right. My question, at the end of the year, this says you made 100 grand. Questions. Where's the money? And then where's the 30 grand you owe on the 100 grand to the government?
Not in my account.
Not in our accounts. So what profit first does is it takes this sales minus profit equal expenses. And we take this and we flip this on its head. Okay, we take it and we flip it on its head. So now, who's the most important person in the business?
Me.
Correct. So we're going to have another plate called profit. This is the owner for taking risk of owning the business. Okay, profit. Now, who sold the deal? Emily?
Me.
Emily. Emily's also the owner, but Emily sold the deal, so Emily needs to get paid. Emily, the business owner, gets paid. Emily, the person that sold the deal, got paid. Now, who needs to get paid? Who needs money? Who needs their 30%?
Uncle Sam.
Taxes. And then we force the business to work on what's left, operation expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have just a generic number. Let's just say this is 5%, this is 50%, this is 20%, that's 75, this is 25%. So then on the 1st and 15th of the 10th and 25th or every Friday, whatever's in this account, we deploy here. So profit's going to get $500. The owner's going to, or the owner's going to get $500. The person that did the work's going to get $5 grand. The government's going to get its $2 grand. And now operation expenses gets 2,500. Now, this is what's left in the toothpaste. This is the small plate that your business works on. Does not eat from 10 grand, it eats from 2,500.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, so here's where I've been getting stuck on this. And thankfully most of us are realtors, so this will make sense. So I have expenses related just to transactions. So like I have a closing manager, I pay her $600 per transaction she schedules my inspections, all of that. Then I have like a transaction coordinator. He's $350. So those expenses only come out if I have a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So do I just put money in my operational expenses account and then each time I pay them, it comes out of that, or how does that flow?
Yes. So does everyone kind of just get the concept of this?
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm confused about one part
Okay.
of that, and that's profit and owner. To me, they feel the same.
So in your case, you have you and Kelsey, and you have you sold the deal, right? So like this would be depending, and again, you might be a little different because of how you guys split things, but let's just say you were a solo agent, right? And you were
Okay.
selling 24 deals a year. Well, that solo agent currently today is not treating themselves like a business. So this starts taking some of that money and allocating it to the business line item of owner profit, of like creating profit out of the business. Then this could be you call it anything, owner's compensation. This is for the work that the owner did. This is for the risk of owning the business. This is the work that the owner did.
And that would be the payroll that that our payroll company is taking out of our S Corp and paying us monthly?
Yeah, so this would eventually go to payroll. So you could take it from owner's pay. And then there's actually a little sub account here called payroll, Rob. That if you
That was
wanted
going to
to
be
take
my
it-
question too.
So yeah, so this could, like, some of it is like, hey, I'm gonna run some of it through payroll. I know, Emily, you have like a $6,000 or $8,000 or whatever that kind of just runs through payroll or whatever that number is, right? We have Melinda and I have about $9,000 a month that run through payroll. So I send money to owner's pay. I send $9,000 to payroll. There's still money left in here because it's 50% of compensation. I'm going to show you in a second how it actually works inside of every dollar. So I think it'll help come out. But then some of that money is going to go to payroll. So then QuickBooks or Gusto or whatever pulls from that account. So it runs through the payroll system. And then this can also be a distribution as an S Corp or a bonus or whatever. Or it can just sit there and wait until maybe you don't have a closing. And it could sit there.
What can sit there? I'm sorry.
The rest of this money, if you didn't use all of this money through payroll, Cindy, sorry.
Okay. And then
But this is the amount of money that's going to be sent to your personal bank account in the form of a distribution or through payroll system.
So where does the 500 go?
The 500, these are all accounts. Okay, these are all accounts. These are bank accounts. When I said plates, bank accounts.
And is there a limit of sub accounts banks let you, do you use credit union or can I know I have several with Wells Fargo. I just don't know like how many they allow.
So this system is made or broken at the bank account, at the bank. Relay Financial, Relay Fi. I'll type it in here in the chat. So if you watch the replay, you should be able to see that. Relay, www.relayfi.com. That bank is a profit first certified bank. We can set up 20 bank accounts per EIN number. So I'm going to pull up my Relay real quick.
So do you also have a local bank or all your banking's with Relay?
All of my business banking is with Relay.
Business, okay.
Do other banks allow multiple accounts per EIN? It may
Some
not be
do.
20, but do they have like 5, 10, anything like that?
With
Yep.
Wells Fargo, I have 4 right now under my business. So I don't know how
And
many.
so we want to look at this as we're building this up. We want to look at no minimums, no fees. Because half of these accounts will have $0 in it the majority of the time because we'll be sending money in and it's a filter and then we'll be sending money out.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to show you. Whoops. So this is relay. Okay. And these are all of the accounts that I have up set up at relay. Now you notice that there's more than just 4 or 5 accounts here, right?
Mhm.
So this income, check this out. This will be, I think this will be a good path of money. So this income account received 16,125 at the beginning of the month. And then based on the percentages that my business runs on, I sent $500 to profit, 11,250 to owner's comp, 2,250 for taxes, and 1,793 to operation expenses. Now my account's at zero. $1,500 comes back in. $1,000 comes in. I send $1,500, $150, 350, 250, 1,667. 81.75 comes in, and you send the money.
And that's automatically doing that for you?
So I do it personally manually, Rob. However, when you get into relay, you can actually set up reoccurring transfers based on percentages.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That is amazing right there.
So, and you can actually set rules inside of it that says, when, account gets to, or on the 25th, if the account has $1 in it, like the income account has $1, then do this with that dollar.
How do you get cash out of that bank being online?
You have, there's a ATM, and they don't, I'm 99% sure they've got, just like most banks, hey, you get 5 ATM withdrawals, you have a debit card.
Any cashier's checks?
You can do a deposit, a mobile deposit.
I mean,
Cashier's checks. That's 2024, Rob. I don't know how many people are using cashier's checks anymore.
for real estate stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing it for vendors. Okay, yeah,
We get cashier's checks. Melinda's parents send us cashier's checks for her birthday I chuckle every time. I'm like, you realize that they could actually just go to we bank at the same, like they can literally just go and we can give them the account and they don't have to send anything, right? But no.
That's not as fun,
$7
though.
card, $7 card, dollar stamp, probably $1.99 for the cashier's check to send it across the country for a week.
But it's fun mail.
We love it. We
Yeah,
love it.
don't knock the fun mail. We get so much trash mail. Having a good one is fun.
So I want to show you. So that's, again, we're going to talk a lot about this. This is not trust me, this is not a one and done deal. Okay. Profit first, because the like gears start stopping it, right? It start, stop. It's pretty heavy lifting. And that's why we're in here, right? We're talking about it on a, and
so can I ask another question?
Yeah, for sure.
So with this relay, so what you're saying is like you just have an account where the income is coming into, and then you're splitting it up between based on what we're talking about, the profit, the own pay, the taxes, and the operation expenses, and then the own pay part, that's where, like, I have the S Corp, I do the payroll and then the occasional distribution, although I'm always terrified to take the distribution. So that's the account where like that part would go into, and then we would do the payroll from there.
Yeah, so if you see mine here, I have income, profit, owner's pay. I do have a payroll account. So if we just click on that, you can see that I made up to $10,650 for payroll this month. And then payroll company comes in and pulls out 53.97, pulls out 37.81, pulls out 76 sorry, pulls out 5252, 1616, and $2,000, right? That was the IRS. And so that's out of the, so the way that you have it set up, that comes out of the payroll account. So I
Okay.
actually set up a payroll account in addition to owner's comp or owner's pay, because there's always going to be generally money left over in that owner's pay account. It could after payroll. So you see right here, this is where I sent 9250 to payroll. There was $2,000 left. That $2,000 went to my personal bank account in the form of a distribution.
Okay.
Okay.
And is this something that you can, that we will get into, like really working on setting up? Because I see it, but
Yep.
I'm also going, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed by the numbers
100%.
and the accounts.
Right, 100%. And so when we set up every dollar, right, and this is when every dollar and relay we work. Now there's only one downside to relay bank. There's only one. It currently doesn't link with every dollar.
Why?
I ask that question every day.
So I just
And so
talked
the
to my banker.
reason it doesn't is the technology doesn't talk to each other.
So
Like one uses FinCity and one uses Plaid or Plaid, and it doesn't link. So that's the only downside. And I love Relay so much, and I love every dollar so much that I'm willing to invest a little bit of time to manually do it, because I like both systems, and eventually I pray every day that they link. Because I'll get about an hour and a half of my week back when they do. This is not an hour and a half, it's about 20 minutes probably. But that's the only downside. So when you set up Relay and you're like, hey, it doesn't link with every dollar, you're right, it doesn't. They know it, I know it, every dollar knows it, and the people that are smarter than us are trying to figure it out. So the point of today is to understand the methodology.
Just real quick, how do you manually put in? You download something from Relay and then you go into every dollar and import it, or?
Nope. I saw this. So like, I go into, because you get emails, right? You get emails when I get an email when I get a deposit. So when I get a deposit, that came in at $16,000, right? We saw that number. I go in here and I manually put it in. Hey, we got a deposit of 16 grand. And then you see where, let me find, down here in expenses. So Profit First Professionals. So my card was charged $496 for my Profit First coaching. I went in, and you can manually in every dollar, Rob. The bank sync would have been great. It would have shown up over here like you've seen, right? It shows up in transactions, right? You've seen that on your personal one that you have set up?
I still don't know how to go into the tract and make sure they all fit, but we'll go over that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So all you do here is, all I did was just go right here, click this blue button, and you can add an expense. And so I simply just carve out 30 minutes. I've got all my dashboards up, and I just go down the line. Or I grab my phone and I have my Relay account up, or I have my Relay account there, and I can just type it in much faster on my phone, and it takes 10 minutes. But again, I love both systems so much that I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have to do it? No, you can use Wells Fargo, you can use PNC Bank, you can use Ally Bank, you can use Citibank, you can use wherever you have. And if it links, do it. Like, that's one of the things. I'm like, hey, no minimums, no fees. You can set up as many accounts as you want. And if it links with technology, like, it doesn't matter to me what bank you use.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
I use Skyline National Bank, and I just texted my banker how many accounts I could get with one EIN number. And he said as many as I want, and they don't have any fees or anything, no minimums.
And so if that bank, for example, if that bank links with Every Dollar without a problem, I probably wouldn't even I wouldn't go to Relay. I like Relay, one, because they work with Profit First. Two, I use it, and three, it's a great demonstration tool,
Mhm.
right? To walk you through the process. I personally don't care where your ones and zeros are stored and what your debit card says. So if you have the banking relationship, do it. Do not go change banks because it's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
It's like trying to sell your house yourself. Like, it's the hardest thing.
It's a big bummer. The only thing is I did love, or in the original Profit First video I watched from like 4 years ago or something, I remember him saying like, put your profit somewhere in a different bank.
Yes. So
Now, I mean, my husband is so disciplined. I'm not worried about, if it were
Yeah.
just me though, I would definitely be doing that.
So I highly recommend. So what Cindy's talking about is, so again, we're going to spend a couple weeks on this because this is critical foundation stuff for us to get, right? Because I don't want to just keep blowing through this. Like we have to slow down. We have to do this. This is where I need you guys over the next week. Homework assignment, get your account set up. I don't care where the bank is. Okay. And what Cindy was talking about, because it's vital, is imagine you have all of these accounts and you start running through 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, right? You're doing 100 grand a quarter or 100 grand every 6 months or whatever the numbers are. And you have this owner's pay that keeps adding up. Because you don't do anything with it. There's a process to it. You take a quarterly distribution. But imagine this is 100 grand and we save 5% of it. That's $5,000. And we save 20% for our taxes, and that's 20 grand. And we go back to our original thinking is, hey, if it's in our bank account, we can spend it. If it's in our daily line of sight, we have access to it. And we have a month with no closings. What are we going to do with this money or this money?
Redirect it.
We're going to redirect it, which means you steal from the owner or you steal from the government. And so what we do is we have hold banks where our tax money goes and our profit goes in separate accounts for when we take the distribution as the profit owner, or we pay the government our quarterly checks. And this is protecting you from you. Right? This is protecting Cindy from having a great quarter and then going on vacation and coming home and not working and doing work, and then coming home and then for the next 30 days doesn't have any closings. And she's like, oh, don't worry, I've got 20 grand in my tax account. I'll be fine. This is protecting you from you. And so you saw mine in there. And the reason why is where my old hold account is a savings account, and I'm having a very hard time sending it from a savings account to a checking account at different banks. So I need to go find a different bank to put my hold money. That's why you saw profit and taxes actually had dollar amounts in there versus zero, because the bank where I used to have it at American Express savings, which was at a 4.35% interest. It's a high yield savings account. I cannot for the life of me get Relay and American Express to link. And so I've emailed their tech because I don't want to open up another account. I don't, right? And so I'm working through that. But again, I like Relay technology. I'll go do it. I'll go find a different way because I like their technology.
So what's the, and I know you said this, but maybe I just misunderstood. I understand the difference between profit and owner in terms of like profits the risk for running the business, owners for the work that you did. But when you talk about splitting and like you have this separate account for profit, I guess that's where like, what is that business profit?
Yeah, and so here I don't want you guys, anyone to get wrapped around the axle on this. Start with an account and just move 1%. Nobody's going to miss it, and it'll start the behavior of understanding that you, the real estate agent, don't make all of the money at the time that you think you make it. Because again, think about like all of the challenges that we have. Money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes out. Money comes in, money goes out. And so what we're doing of setting it up as we're scaling our business, where we're at now and where we want to go in the future, whether it's a team or more agents or more offices or more locations, whatever it is, we're going to want to set up our business to get ahead of the growth. And so if we can take some of our revenue, carve it off the top rather than the bottom for the owner, when the numbers are smaller, when there's only one person doing it, when we get to 3 people or we get to 3 times the sales, it'll be much easier to carve off the money. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of vision for this. I started at 1% when I was doing, $1,000 a month, or when I was close a deal every 90 days. Back in like 17 and 18. And in 19, I sold some more real estate, and then I started my coaching business, and then extra other services came in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and my coaching business kept growing, and I got my percentage to about 10%. And it was 10% of about 30 grand a month. So every month I would carve off 3 grand, bring home 40 or 50%, save for taxes, run my business. Carve off 10%, bring money home, pay taxes, set money aside for taxes, run my business. So I got to the end of the quarter and I had 9 grand sitting in an account that I had almost forgotten about because I didn't have any access to it. So it's this awesome quarterly bonus that can come home, and we get to go do whatever we want, because now we actually, when you go do that and this money comes home and it's $3,000 of profit cash from the bank, and it sits down, you're like, I actually did something. Because the other money it goes into an investment account, it pays off debt, it buys groceries, it does all of whatever. But when I was in Reston, Virginia, my bank, my business, my tax hold, and my main bank, PNC, they were 2 blocks from each other. So I would make videos of me going into MVB Bank to the teller and withdrawing. I actually got an IRS letter because I withdrew $10,500. And I'm like, I've learned that you do not want to withdraw $10,000 at one time from a bank. So I didn't do that again, but I would go and they would only have 50s. This was the craziest thing. They didn't have 100s in that bank, or out of the ATM teller. You could get like $5,000 from the teller or from the ATM, but they only had 50s. So I would walk to the bank. It was like 6 blocks. I would get $9,000 of 50s. I mean, it was that thick. I would walk past my other bank, go home, sit on my desk for 3 days over the weekend, And I would just look at it. And I was just like, I'm not going to do anything with it. I just looked at it and I was like,
Awesome.
and it was like, it was pride, right? It was pride. It wasn't ego. It was pride. And like, you did work. And then I would walk down to PNC Bank. I would give them $9,000 and I would deposit it into my personal checking account. And then Melinda and I would do anything we wanted with it, right? But there was such a joy of running a business, knowing that it was 10% top line profit, 60% bottom line. And I just had that money just sit there on my desk for 3 days. And you're like, I actually did something.
It's amazing.
And I can't tell you that like how like internally that feels.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, yes, Emily, that money is going to end up in your hands, it's delaying it and then taking it as profit to realize that you actually went and did something and you have a business.
Okay.
Psychological. This is 80-90% behavior, 10 to 20% head knowledge. This doesn't make any sense on a spreadsheet. This doesn't make any sense to our spouses. It doesn't. Trust me. When you go and take your first profit distribution and it's $250, it's not going to feel like anything. A year from now, when you're doing this and it's $10,000 because you're at 10% profit and you did 100 grand of revenue in a quarter, you're gonna be like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This is the greatest system ever. When you set it up and you want to go make that next hire, Rob, when you're looking at hiring someone for the Brent Gove team, whether it's the team or whether it's the event team, and you have a bucket of money for that says $15,000 that's set aside for their first 3 months or 4 months of salary, you hire differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you go through and you're like, hey, I want to go to, I'm going to an event and I have $1,000 in my event bucket. You buy a hotel different, you buy a plane ticket different. You still go to the event, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the place where all of this stuff is done and dialed in, and you're like, I've got these accounts. Now I have space to go work, to go fill them up.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than 10 grand comes in and we're strapped and we need all 10 grand to come home. We've created this space and margin between our business and our life for our business to go thrive and our life to keep running.
I think it changes the tone too, when you're working in your business and you have that need, like, oh my gosh, I need the commission check. That is a terrible place to work from.
Mhm.
Yes, I
love
agree.
how this changes all of that. And it reminds me also, my family, I come from farmers, and every harvest they save seed. And I just think Americans, we don't get it because most of us don't even understand. But anyway, I won't get into all of it, but they live their whole lives this way. They save a certain amount of seed for next year to plant, but also to sell off over the coming years for different things that they want to do. So like my aunt and uncle, one time they wanted to do this big addition on their house and they sold some seed to do that. That's how they
Yeah.
paid for it.
And I mean, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about it we talked about on the workshop today about adding age to our money and making money this month and allocating it this month, but using it in the future months so that we can just keep this machine running over and over and over so that we never have to feel this rob Peter to pay Paul. We never have to feel this, I'm stealing from my tax bank account, or I'm taking from the owner, I'm taking an early distribution to go buy the thing. You're building the habits along the way to be that responsible, profitable business owner. And just a really, really, really good steward of your money. So reading the book Profit First or listening to it, especially since between now and our next week is like, it's a pretty quick week, right? Is maybe listen to it first so you hear it. But it's also one of those books that I would recommend that you hear and buy, because there's something about pouring over these pages and like, oh, the instant assessment and this and that. of where to start with your percentages. Okay. And then just as a little preview, when we get to working this in every dollar, right? Right now, my current profit percentage is 6%. And so, this was top line revenue for all of my businesses this month. I carved off 6% is going to go to my profit account, right? $2,250. I'm saving $1,500 a month this month for events and tax preparation. And here's the money I'm paying myself this month. And again, we won't start with as complex as this, but we'll show you next week how to set up all of those accounts. So like every little group in your every dollar is profit, owner's comp, taxes, and OpEx. And so if you only did one, then we would do that first, and then we would come down and do a personal. And I'll show you live next week on why I like for you to have one or two accounts instead of one.
How do I know how many how do I know? Because I have a bunch of line items in my budget. How do I know, does every one of those line items need a bank account, or do you group those to be in bank?
You can group those together. That was just for the things that I'm saving for, Rob. Yeah. But like, hey, my coaching, my admin, my payroll, or not my payroll, my admin, my transactions, your TC work, your gas, all of that stuff that you spend, all goes to your operation expense account. The only thing that had those line items were things I was saving for in the future.
So is there anybody else on the call that is still in the setup process that might want to sidebar and kind of like put our heads together and setting some of this up? Or are we going to spend some weeks actually setting these things up? Or are we?
Well, I mean, if you have, if you have, so that's why the first thing I want you to do is we got to find the bank.
Well, it looks like Wells Fargo is going to work. So
okay.
It's like Wells Fargo.
So homework assignment between now and the end of next week is the bank.
It's already set up. Everything's already in there.
Okay. Who needs to set up, who needs to have the conversation with their bank that they need to add more accounts to their bank? Emily, Eric, Dan.
How many?
Here's the trick with Wells Fargo. I get 2 free, and then every other one, which I already have happening, I forgot. Every other one has to have an automatic either $300 in it or an automatic transfer of $25 a month in order for it to be free. So you just have to have one of those two things. So I just realized for my my car registration and all those things, I just have an automatic transfer going into those of 25 or more, and so they're all free right now. So
okay. And again, this also looks at it, from an expense standpoint. If you set up an account, let's say you have 10 accounts, right? And let's say they charge $10 or $5 for the, hey, if you don't hit the minimum or whatever their fee is. And you look at it, and it's like, hey, it's going to be $500 for the year if I have fees. Like, just now realize that you're paying $500 to not change banks. And if you're okay with that, I'm fine with it.
I just looked up at 0 fees right now. Between personal and business, we have like 12 accounts.
So it's like, hey, it's like for me, when I set up somebody's billing, yes, it costs less if I have an ACH versus a credit card. But how much easier is it to get a credit card? And I was like, oh, Emily, can you give me your routing number and your account number and your bank? And like, or is this like, I need your, I don't even have to ask, like card number, American or expiration date, CV2, zip code, like you're already just ingrained to do it. So it's just the path of least resistance. Yeah, I'll pay the extra $20 a month just to make it easy for my client. Like, no big deal. Right? So you just kind of keep moving. So same kind of thing with your banking. If you get pushback and you're like, hey, this is going to be $500 for the year and I don't want to change banks, I'll just do it here. That's okay. But now you're aware of it. Now you know it. And that's the behavior, and that's the thing that you now focus on.
So for someone like me who's behind on putting in the budget, I assume I just need to go to the Facebook group and do the budget part that I missed.
Yeah, watch last week. Whoops.
Okay.
Watch last week, number one. And then any questions, drop them in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Okay. And then next week, Rob, go ahead and set up the accounts. We'll name them profit, owner's comp, and I'll put this in the Facebook group, profit, owner's comp, income, profit, owner's pay, taxes, operation expenses are the main ones that we need. And then set those up, and then we'll get, we'll spend some time in every dollar to where every dollar matches that, so that as money comes in and we're planning it, then we know how it's going to allocate to the banks. And then we'll keep moving the ball down the field.
And Emily, since I've already set up my budget, I'm just one step ahead. I'd be happy to like jump on with you. It was pretty simple to do. I just took it from my spreadsheet and took it over. And then maybe the next step, you might be ahead of me and we could,
Yeah, I'm certainly open to that. These kinds of things are overwhelming to me, and I usually shut down, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. So I don't feel that way.
Awesome. Well, good job,
So-
Rob. Thank you. And again, we can definitely, you know, if when everyone gets their bank account set up and we see that there's like, hey, there's a bunch of questions coming in, that means we hop on another live call, because between the calls, because there's something to talk about, right? People are doing the work, you're moving the ball down the field. Hey, if it's a Friday afternoon or a Saturday, I can be like, hey, ask me anything. I've got some time, you know, pop in here, and we just hop in and answer questions live.
Okay.
Okay. I'm totally down for that. As this group grows, that's probably going to happen more often than not, because you guys are going to be on week 6, week 12, week 15. You're going to be in the monthly, or maybe you move to one-on-one, or maybe you're just, you know, you're just here to, you know, help and support, whatever it is. Like, there's always going to be that, eventually there's going to be the office hours, right? This is the coaching. And then eventually there's going to be like, hey, Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I'm on Zoom with no agenda. Come in and ask questions. We're not there yet, but clearly we're getting there very quickly. Okay.
cool.
Awesome.
Um,
All right. Well, I will, looks like everybody's putting in their phone numbers and stuff. Obviously, friend each other on Facebook and social and stuff like that. Rob, that's called like friend request and follow on Facebook and Instagram.
you're a loser, Facebook people. I'll just say that both of us are.
Awesome. All right, guys. I gotta
Thank you.
appreciate. I'm gonna
Thank
leave
you.
this. I'm gonna leave this on so anyone, or take a picture of the chat. Or you know, Arbel will post the recording to have everybody's number in there if you so want. And then Lindsay Cindy, not Lindsay, Cindy posted a couple of YouTube videos that we'll grab as well and post those in the Facebook group. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
All
Bye,
right, bye.
everybody.
Next week.
Hey, Arbel, stick on for a second. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Arbel.
Hey, Matt.
Says we're still recording. We shouldn't be recording, right?